Today we're taking a look at these NFL matches, which are happening on Monday, October 17, 2022, and giving you our parlay picks, match breakdowns, betting tips and predictions in general on these games. Welcome back to High Stakes, let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe and push that notification bell to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. And if you would like more betting tips and predictions, then check out our Patreon in the link down below. Our new Patreon is a way for us to help you improve your chances of making more money. Multiple plans are available for each and every one of you. By becoming a member of the High Stakes Patreon, you will have access to our best team picks, total picks, parlay picks and much more. Stop wasting hours of your time searching for bad betting predictions that ends up costing you a lot of time and money. Join the High Stakes Patreon now and get the best betting picks. Our first parlay pick is Los Angeles Chargers vs Denver Broncos. Chargers over 25.5 points. Beautiful SoFi Stadium will play host to a Monday night NFL clash between the Denver Broncos and the Los Angeles Chargers. The Broncos, 2-3, have stumbled out of the gate for rookie head coach Nathaniel Hackett and rank 31st in the league in scoring, 15 ppg. On Thursday, Denver failed to score a touchdown during a 12-9 overtime loss versus Indianapolis. Denver QB Russell Wilson continued his subpar play with 274 passing yards and 2 costly interceptions. Courtland Sutton caught 5 passes for 74 yards, and Melvin Gordon added 54 yards on the ground for the Broncos. The Los Angeles Chargers rank 5th in the league in total offense and figure to contend for an AFC West division title. On Sunday, Los Angeles rallied from a 14-point first-quarter deficit to earn a 30-28 road victory against Cleveland. The Chargers, 3-2, gained 465 yards of total offense and escaped after the Browns missed a 54-yard field goal in the closing seconds. Los Angeles RB Austin Ekeler exploded for a season-high 199 yards from scrimmage and scored twice. WR Mike Williams contributed 134 receiving yards on 10 receptions for the Chargers. The Broncos have lost 3 of their 5 games and 2 straight road games. They have one of the worst offenses in the league, with a team averaging less than 20 points per game. They haven't run the ball well, and Wilson is off to a slow start and is also dealing with an injury to his shoulder, which will make matters worse for them. Even though the Chargers have struggled defensively, they won't have trouble slowing down an offense that has scored more than 20 points only once this season. The Chargers have been on a roll offensively in recent weeks, with the team scoring 30 or more points in 2 straight games. Even though they are the second best passing team in the league, they showed that they are more than capable of running the ball, rushing for over 200 yards against the Browns in their last game. With Denver giving up over 300 yards on the ground in their last 2 games, expect the Chargers to pound the ball on the ground, which will open up big play opportunities for Herbert, who will pick their secondary apart, so go with Los Angeles to cover the spread. Our second pick is Los Angeles Chargers vs Denver Broncos. Los Angeles Chargers minus 4.5 points. Russell Wilson looks like a shadow of his former self, and there isn't much to blame. He has wide receivers such as Jerry Jeudy to throw to, but he's throwing interceptions instead. He finished the game against the Colts with 274 yards passing and 2 interceptions. They were unable to score a single touchdown in that game as well. Their offense averages just 15 points per game, ranking 31st in the league. This team, frankly, is awful when it comes to offense, and the blame rests on Wilson. The Los Angeles Chargers, however, have been spectacular on offense. They average 24.4 points per game, ranking 9th in the NFL. The main problem is how poor their defense has been this year. On average, the Chargers are giving up 27.2 points per game this year. The Chargers have a short injury report as far as guys that have been active of late. We know Rashawn Slater, biceps, Joey Bosa, groin, and Jalen Guyton, knee, are on IR and won't take the field here, but other than that, they are relatively healthy. Kicker Dustin Hopkins, quad, receiver Keenan Allen, hamstring, and tackle Trey Pipkins 3, knee, were all limited Friday, so watch for updates over the weekend. Last week, in their game against the Browns, the Chargers showed resilience. Sure, they gave up a lot of points and yards on the ground, but they won the game. Justin Herbert passed for 228 yards and a touchdown as the team relied on its running game. Austin Ekeler not only had a receiving touchdown, but 173 rushing yards and a rushing TD to match. The Denver Broncos defense allows only 16 points per game. Most of the losses and wins they've earned have been through close games. Considering the Chargers have the 30th ranked defense in the league, we expect this game to stay close. The 4.5-point spread, however, isn't going to be enough for Denver to cover. Instead, we'll take the Chargers at home over the Broncos with the total going under. The Broncos' offense can't match what the Chargers can do. Our third pick is Los Angeles Chargers vs Denver Broncos. Under 45.5 points. At the end of last week's game at Cleveland, it was hard to overlook a very odd stat on the stat sheet. It showed the Chargers with 466 total yards, 238 of those on the ground, 228 through the air. Yes, the Chargers had a better running game than their passing game for 1 week at least. They entered last week with the worst rushing attack in the NFL, averaging 64.5 yards per game and a bony arm 2.7 yards per attempt. Also, the Chargers had gone 17 straight games without having a 100-yard rusher and had just 2 such efforts since 2020, the fewest in the NFL in that span. But this changed against the Browns when Austin Ekeler went crazy. Ekeler ended the game with 174 yards on 16 carries. Okay, so the offense is flimsy. We get it. But the one thing that should help keep them in any game is that Buc and Bronco defense. They're ornery. They are giving up just 289 yards, 3rd in the NFL, and 16.0 points per game, 4th in the NFL. They'll have a tough assignment this week versus the Chargers offense. Keenan Allen is still out for the Chargers, but look for them to target Mike Williams again, who has 120 and 134 yards in the last 2 games. The Broncos will have to move on without standout cornerback Ronald Darby, who was lost for the season in the Colts game, and rush specialist Randy Gregory, who is out with a knee injury. In their stead, look for cornerback Pat Surtain to match up with Williams, while Bradley Chubb has become a force in the pass rush. He registered 2.5 sacks and 7 total tackles versus the Colts. Also, Baron Browning, Gregory's replacement, picked up 1.5 sacks and 6 QB hits on Matt Ryan. Denver gives up 112.4 yards per game on the ground, but that balloons to 135.6 yards over the last 3 contests. So look for the Chargers to continue to aim for more balance on offense like they had last week. If you are the betting kind, the Broncos are 1-4 against the spread this season, while the Chargers are the polar opposite at 4-1. The FPI says the Broncos have only a 24.8% chance to win here. The Chargers have been a little banged up already this season, but are starting to get some of the injured players back into the rotation. With those combinations of factors, this one is easy. In fact, the Chargers average 24.4 points per game, compared to the aforementioned Broncos scoring 15 per game. That sounds like a perfect final score here.